What is the weirdest product?
I wouldn't say it's weird, but it's condoms in little packets. She's having a fit over there laughing. You didn't expect that, did you, Martina?
I don't know. I think I might have to cut that out. I'm not sure. I'm Martina, and welcome to Women Inspired Networking Conversations, the podcast. Now, if you're a woman in business who's ever been nervous about networking, felt intimidated about the salesy approach that most networking events have, then this is for you. This podcast is all about real conversations. No fluff, no pressure, just real conversations with other women in business who understand the journey. Welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoy. Grab a coffee and let's chat. Welcome back to this week's podcast. Today, I'm with Nikki from Insignia Limited. Hi, Nikki.
Hi there, Martina.
Thank you so much for chatting to me today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and how you got there and your journey and things like that?
So, Insignia Limited is a promotional merchandise company. So, we supply branded merchandise, anything from a pen, notebook, to bespoke products, anything really that anybody needs with their logo, branding. Insignia has actually been going since 1981 and I have been in the industry since 2000. So I like to think that I have a little bit of knowledge about the industry. And then in 2019, I think it was, I started working with Claire, who owned the business. And in 2022, Claire said she wanted to retire. So we then started the process of me taking over the business and buying the business. So in May 2023, I officially took the business over. So yeah, it's been fun, I have to say, but scary as well along the way.
That must be really tricky taking it over from someone else who has had it for such a long time, like branding and their ethos and things like that. Have you come in and changed that, or are you very similar in values to Claire anyway?
I would say we're fairly sort of similar in values, but I think that every business evolves, time evolves, so you have to go with the times. In the last sort of year, maybe, we've started to look at how we can push the business forward a bit further.
Your ideal client, is that like the big companies, or is it the really small companies, or is it a mix of all of them?
I would say probably a mix of all of them, because the big companies, although they use the same amount of time per order, I would say that a mixture, because we deal with quite a lot of small schools, which actually makes me feel a bit part of the community. Even if they aren't in Suffolk, where I'm based, I still feel that we are part of the community of the school. In it, a lot of rewards and things are actually purchased for the children to have as a well done. And I love that side of it.
So like badges and stuff?
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's so good. You should do more of that. Have you been getting into the schools here?
I haven't really looked at a lot of the schools locally. I don't know why I haven't, but it's perhaps something I need to be doing. Thank you, Martina.
No, that's all right. Like, we're always doing a bit of networking chat. So I have the Meet Suffolk Mums Facebook group. There's 6,000 mums around Suffolk. I'm pretty sure most of them have either a preschool or a school. So you should definitely get in there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. Thank you.
I can't believe I haven't said this to you before.
I'm trying Suffolk businesses, but I haven't looked at the education side. So you've got obviously universities as well and colleges in sort of East Anglia.
That's what currently works for your business. Lean into that more, I guess. Anyways, always ask you this question. What is the most popular product you sell?
I think it's got to be something really boring, I'm afraid, and it's a pen and a notebook.
Okay, all right.
Everybody needs a pen and a notebook.
And it's really good branding, to be fair. Like the Success Circle, we all have pens because I want everyone to be showing off their pens and using it out in public and stuff. I guess it's really good exposure. What is the weirdest product?
I wouldn't say it's weird, but I find it quite random. It's condoms in like little... Yeah. Condoms in like little packets we can supply as well. I think it's great. She's having a fit over there laughing. You didn't expect that, did you, Martina?
I don't know. I think I might have to cut that out. I'm not sure. Right. Well, so how does that work? Just on the packaging, obviously.
Yeah, not literally on the condom. I think I'd be a bit concerned it got damaged.
Okay. All right. Okay. But that's the weirdest thing. What's the most expensive thing?
I think it's probably Mont Blanc pens.
So still quite boring though, really.
Still boring. Yeah.
Just high-end boring.
Very high-end boring.
I know. I think I met you about 6 months ago?
Might even be less. I've been stalking you online, Martina. So that's since last year.
Okay, and what did you think? Did I live up to any expectation?
Every expectation I had and surpassed them with Women Inspired Network. I've been following it for a while and it's hiding in the background, watching. And I think it's a regular thing with a lot of people where you'll like join this group and think, I'll just sit there and I'll watch and I'll see how it works.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that because we've got just under 2,000 people in the Facebook group currently. Now, there's no way I've had 2,000 people come to events. So I think networking traditionally is quite nerve-wracking. People get quite anxious about it because there's this perceived idea that you have to stand up and public speak and that it's going to be really awkward and you're going to get there and you're not going to know anyone and you're going to be stood on the bar on your own for ages. But actually, our events aren't like that. But until you come, you don't actually realise that it's not like normal networking.
No, you're completely right. And also, even when you put out the information on it and you're just like, no public speaking and all this sort of thing, I think if you are an introvert like myself, I think you still have that element of doubt about whether you should actually go and do it. And I think it's still quite scary. I think that actually booking my first networking was probably the scariest thing to even turning up. And I did online, didn't I? Rather than actually going in person just to get a feel for it.
So your story, I actually refer back to quite a lot. And I've mentioned it a couple of times on the podcast without saying it's you, obviously. But your journey and your transformation when it comes to networking is just incredible. It's mind-blowing. So Nikki won't mind me saying, you booked your online session and you came to the online networking event with Sharon. That night you booked to come to Bury, which was possibly about a week later, I think, not that far apart,
No, it wasn't.
not too far. And then you turned up to Bury and we had a great session there. And we were chatting about the Success Circle anyway, which is like a whole new level of networking. And if I'm completely honest, I don't think I even thought you would be even thinking about it. Like we were talking about it, but I didn't think that you would actually do it because you were really nervous to come to the online and to the in-person. And then the day that we had the Bury event, you left and said, I'm going to book the Success Circle. And you did. And since then, it's been so wonderful to watch. And I'm so, so proud that we had something to do with that.
You had everything to do with it. If anybody is scared of networking because you've walked into a room of people which they just look at you, don't think that's what Women Inspired Network's like, because it isn't. It's nothing like that at all. It's going through that door and seeing so many welcoming faces. And you were the first person I saw. And you knew exactly who I was, and you welcomed me with open arms. You almost gave me a hug.
I am a hugger. I am a hugger.
But I'm happy to be hugged, especially when you're getting into that situation where you walk in and you know nobody and you just feel really conscious of it. And you did, even if you didn't give me a hug, it felt like a hug because of the way you greeted me when I walked in. And it has been like that to any of the Women Inspired Network events that I've ever been to. And I know that I obviously know quite a lot of people now, having been to quite a few, I have to say. But seriously, it was just lovely. I couldn't have felt so welcome, and everybody there was lovely. And I think it was Paige that was actually doing the talk, and she was great. And that was a relaxing and informative talk I really enjoyed as well. So yeah, that's where it came from.
I must say that is intentional. I do this on purpose, as in I have the directory intentionally so that I get a picture of you before you come, because otherwise I don't know what you look like. And I like for you to walk through the door of the room and for me to go, hi, Nikki, you must be Nikki. Are you Nikki? You do merchandise. And I like to know what you do and who you are without having even met ever before. Because how does that make you feel when someone comes up to you for the first time ever and says, oh my gosh, hi, you must be Nikki. Welcome.
It's everything. It is everything, especially to someone that is so nervous about going and doing it. And that's why the Women Inside Network actually works so well, because of the way that you have built it. It makes other networkings, to be honest, feel a little bit lacking, let's say.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. No, it is all very intentional. And I think when I worked for a company, because I don't know if you even know this, but before I did Women Inspired Network, I worked for a company doing networking for about 2 years. And I felt like there was a real lack of a space for a small business owner who was really anxious or nervous or had no self-confidence. And I would see time again, people would book on, not turn up, book on, not turn up. I've got people who I know personally who have booked about 5 or 6 times, never ever showed, because they just couldn't bring themselves to walk through the door. So I wanted it to be a space that even that person could get connections from. Why should it just be the corporate people that are able to get connections and collaborations? What about us small people who maybe haven't got the confidence and are full of imposter syndrome, have no idea what we're doing? We're blagging life. Like I said to you about this podcast, completely blagging it. You know, there should be a space for that woman to be able to thrive. And I think that, I mean, your business is a little bit bigger, but I feel like you're a prime example of how that works. So with Women Inspired Network, what do you feel you've got out of that? The connections, the collaborations, have you bought from people? Have people bought from you? What have you got from Women Inspired Network so far?
I've got to know so many people in so many different industries that I would never have met before. It's not something that I do on a regular basis. I don't, I've met coaches, I've met health advisors, ladies that help with menopause. There's so many different people that I've met with, and I'm actually using some of those people to help me personally through health-wise and things, healthy eating, and which would hopefully help with me health going forwards. I've just met so many different people in different industries. Like I say, I would never have met them before.
That's the beauty of Women Inspired Network. We have so many events over Suffolk and Cambridge. You can pick and choose which ones you go to. There's no commitment. You can literally go to as many or as little as you like, but every single event is a different pool of people. So you could go to every event during the month and see maybe a couple of people the same, but majoritively completely different people. So you can get your business out to so many different people, because you never know, they might not need you at that moment, but they might know someone that needs you and they might have a recommendation for you. So I guess it's just getting in front of those people.
It is. And, I've even had some of the networks saying, oh, I've had this tricky situation with a client. I'm obviously nothing to do legally I could help with, but they're like, well, what do you think I should do? How do you think this would work? And I was talking to someone the other day and they messaged me later on to say, thank you so much. I've done that and it's actually worked. That's brilliant. Thank you. I suppose it was woman to woman, but it was also business to business. With your business head on, you obviously come across certain things and other people perhaps hadn't come across that. So it was giving them my wealth of experience within the industry and business to actually help them. So I think it's great that way.
Well, that is just so wonderful. And I think that happens a lot in the Success Circle as well. So the Success Circle being our next level membership networking option. And we're the same group of people who see each other again and again and again. We meet on the first Wednesday of every month at Hindlesham Hall. We have a lovely dinner. We get to just chat and have fun. And there's always so many laughs. But actually, when you get to the core of it, we're all helping each other. And that's a bit similar to what you were just saying about the help that you've given to people in Women Inspired Network. I'm finding watching your journey really beautiful, because it's just changed so much since you first started. Let me ask you, what made you book that ticket, that first online ticket? What made you book that? Because you could have sat in the background for ages.
I think this year I pulled my big girl pants up, so to speak, and thought, you've got to just get on with it. You can't just sit in the background all the time because nothing will change. I'm in my own little bubble all day, every day. My husband turned around to me and said, looking on Life 360, you haven't been out since last weekend. And this was the following weekend. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't keep doing this. I've got to get out of the house and I've got to meet people as well, like-minded people as well. So I think that's what pushed me, but also getting the feel for the way you work as well, because I'd seen so much of it and the images and everything else. It made me feel more comfortable with coming. Many years ago, I went to a networking, it probably was about 15 years ago, with the company that I worked for, and it was awful. It was so bad. And I think that's what really turned me off doing it. It scared me.
So what happened at that networking event that really put you off?
It was walking into a room and know everyone looking at me as if I'd got 10 heads. And also you had to stand up and say what you did. And do you know what? It was awful. I wasn't prepared for it. I really wasn't prepared to have to do that. And that's the other thing about the network. You don't have to do that.
No, and I think when I worked for the company, that is what you did. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but I was just like, right, yeah, now you tell me what you do. Right, now you stand up and tell me what you do. But actually, that's a really, really anxious situation to put someone in, especially if you haven't given them the heads up. So that's why in the messenger chat before, I like to just pop a quick video in there just to show people who I am when they walk through the door, but also to let them know and prepare. So if we're doing a mastermind session where, yes, you might talk about your business, but you won't have to stand up and talk, I'd probably ask you questions if you're nervous. It's just to let you know that so that you can prepare and not feel caught off guard. I think that is something that a lot of networking groups do, because I think they assume that's what all networking groups do. But it's such a shame that it puts people off and then you haven't been for 15 years. That's sad.
I'm here now, and it's given me so much confidence to do so much more. And I do go to mixed networking now. And so I've been to 2, and so far they have been great. But I have to admit, when I've walked through the door, there's always been a woman that has latched onto me as that can obviously see I'm a little bit anxious. And I think it's a woman thing, to be fair. And it's been great that way. So I would never have done it if I hadn't done what I did with you.
I actually think that coming to Women Inspired Network has possibly been the stepping stone to give you the confidence so that if someone did ask you to stand up about and talk about your business, you'd probably have more confidence to do so now than what you would have done 6 months ago. What you do is so for corporate businesses, it's a shame not to go to those corporate events just because you're really nervous. So hopefully we've given you the confidence to be able to go and do those without getting really anxious about it.
Yeah, you have, without a doubt. There's no way I would have gone to the 2 that I went to last week if it wasn't for the confidence that I've built now to be able to go and do it. I feel like I know my business better through it as well. I've done some sit back and look at where things are within the business. And that's through confidence, because before I was just keeping my head down, keeping my head in the business. So yes, people probably think networking's networking, but it's actually a confidence thing as well. You're telling people about your business and what you do, and you have to have the confidence to do that. Without the confidence, you can't move forwards.
No, definitely not. And I think by us having one-to-one networking, that's you repeating that sales pitch essentially again and again and again and again and again, so that you kind of get confident to be able to say it in front of 2 or 3 people. So then when we have a groups of 2 or 3, that doesn't become so overwhelming because you've repeated it again and again and again at other events, that you've kind of got a bit of a flow. No one expects a script, and I don't advise anyone prepare a script on what you do because it is just not authentic at all. You want to be able to talk off the cuff about your business, and that's kind of what I'm trying to help everyone develop, so that when you go into a bigger situation or even like a corporate networking situation, when someone asks you what you do, you don't want to curl under a rock. You actually can say with confidence, this is what I do.
And you do. Last week, I sat on a table of 10 people, and we all sat down, and we then had to go around the table and say what we did. And I felt more confident doing that last week because I've done it so much now. Whereas before, my words would have been like, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? But no, I'm getting there now with it. I really am.
And I guess the success circle helps because we kind of do that in the success circle. I don't ever recommend that someone that's really anxious or really new in business joins the success circle. The success circle is much more about going to that next level of confidence rather than getting your confidence as such. I hope you don't mind me using your journey experience as examples.
More than welcome.
But can you give us a few tips or a few pieces of advice that you would give someone who's watching this or listening to this, thinking, oh my God, I'm that woman at the beginning. I'm lurking in the background and I am so scared to go to networking. What would be your advice or your words of wisdom?
Back in the background, look at all the stories that are going on and how much it's helping people. And look at the photographs of the happy faces. All those ladies started like you. I would say probably 95% of them did. And they were really nervous. What I would suggest is perhaps try an online one. See how you get on. Because that's what I did and I really enjoyed it. Sharon is lovely. She is so calming, and she just gets you at ease, and then book on one, and then go and just see how you get on. Honestly, if you don't enjoy it, then I would be surprised if you didn't, then perhaps lurk in the background for a little bit longer. But I think the hardest thing, I think I probably said it already, is actually booking it. It's not actually turning up, it's actually having the thought to book the actual place that you're going to go. And I really think you should do it.
Oh, that's so lovely. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of the day and sharing your journey with us.
You're very welcome anytime.
I'll see you later.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for being here and listening with us today. If you're loving the podcast and want to find out more about our Women Inspired Network events, then find out more on www.womeninspirednetwork.com/events. Or you can connect with us on Facebook under Women Inspired Network, or follow along on Instagram under women_inspired_network. And of course, subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss an episode. I'll see you next week for another honest conversation.